At my brother's baby shower, my mom held up a framed deed. A gift from all of us. I looked again. It was the apartment I'd fully paid off. My dad bent close. You have 30 days to move out. I smiled. One day will do. By dawn, a removal crew had arrived. Cabinets removed. Fixtures removed. Flooring torn up. I even took the washer-dryer I purchased. At 6:41 p.m., my brother texted, "Is this some joke?" I replied, "Not yet, but tomorrow's delivery could be." What showed up at their door the next morning was... The moment my father whispered, "You have 30 days to vacate," I knew I was done playing their game. The smile I gave him wasn't one of warmth, but of dawning, bone-deep clarity. One day, I thought, one day is all you'll get. The air in the rented banquet hall was thick with saccharine perfume and the cloying scent of cheap fondant. Muted afternoon light filtered through tall, draped windows, casting a sickly yellow glow on the pastel decorations. Above the gentle clinking of silverware and forced laughter, a single, shrill giggle cut through, a false note in an already off-key symphony of family celebration. It started with a cake. One of those towering fondant abominations, a confectionery explosion that looked less like a baby's arrival and more like a gender reveal went catastrophically wrong at a Tiffany's outlet. Blue ribbons, edible pearls, tiny plastic baby shoes teetering on top like little trophies of bad decisions. My mother, Brenda, stood beside it, beaming like she'd single-handedly solved generational poverty through themed desserts. I wasn't even supposed to be there. Technically, I hadn't been invited. I'd gotten the address from my cousin, Olivia, accompanied by a quick, "Don't shoot the messenger" text, the kind of family loyalty that usually gets you voted off the island first. But I came anyway, and I brought a gift. Nothing flashy, just a vintage silver rattle, engraved with the baby's initials, meticulously wrapped in navy tissue, tucked into a box I'd driven across town to find. It wasn't about grand gestures. It was about genuine meaning. Turns out they had something far flashier planned. Something completely without me. Just before the cupcakes, and right after the pastel balloon arch collapsed for the third time, Brenda clinked her glass with a fork. A hush fell. "Family is everything," she began, a familiar phrase that in our family was always code for someone's about to be publicly humiliated. "Smile for the cameras, everyone." She held up a frame, gold-trimmed, tacky, but heavy enough to feel serious. Inside a deed. "This," she announced, her voice swelling with pride, "is a gift from all of us." Her gaze swept over the room, lingering just a moment too long on me. "To the new parents, Jake and Sarah, the apartment, it's theirs now, paid in full." Applause erupted. My brother, Jake, grinned, a foolish, self-satisfied smirk. Sarah, his girlfriend, dabbed at a tear. My aunt shrieked, "You guys are amazing!" As if they'd just rescued a puppy, not orchestrated a brazen theft. My blood ran cold. A slow, terrifying realization began to dawn. I pushed through the crowd, my steps feeling impossibly heavy, a growing dread tightening my chest. I took the frame from Brenda's hands. My fingers trembled slightly as I read the name on the deed. My name, Leo, the original owner, the man who had paid for it. My name, right there, bold as brass. I looked up at Brenda, then at Jake and Sarah, then back at the frame. Finally, my eyes landed on my father, Richard. He leaned in, a conspiratorial whisper, like a used car salesman offering an unexpected upgrade. "You have 30 days to vacate," he murmured, a barely suppressed triumph in his eyes. I stared at him. 30 days. To vacate my own apartment. A slow, venomous smile spread across my face. It wasn't amusement. It was the smile of a predator realizing it had been underestimated. "One day," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "One day is enough." I handed the frame back, turned, and walked out. No yelling, no argument, no scene. Not yet. By 5 a.m. the next morning, the building manager had unlocked the front door for me. By 7 a.m., a removal crew, discreet and efficient, was in place. By 9:30, everything Jake and Sarah had ever brought into that apartment was gone. The cheap, fake oak laminate flooring they'd installed, ripped up. The crib, the curtains, the wobbly IKEA dresser, boxed. Even that Etsy wall decal that proudly declared, "Our little nest," peeled off and tossed. I didn't touch what was mine. I simply deleted what wasn't. By 11 a.m., it no longer looked like their home. It looked like mine. At 6:41 p.m., my phone buzzed. A text from Jake. "Is this a joke?" I typed my reply, a chilling calm settling over me. Not yet, but tomorrow's delivery might be. That apartment was never part of their plan. Or at least, it wasn't supposed to be. I bought it in 2020. Small, quiet, 2-bedroom, walking distance from my job. Good light in the kitchen. It was my sanctuary. I never posted about it. Never invited anyone over. It was mine. That was the whole point. Then came Jake. "Just temporary," he'd said, "until we find something." He and Sarah showed up with 2 duffel bags, a yoga mat, and a cat. I, being the ever-accommodating brother, said, "Sure, a month, maybe 2. They stayed for 19. I never asked for rent. Not once. They'd offer to buy groceries occasionally. Sometimes they even did. Most of the time they didn't. I didn't keep track. I figured it was short-term. I was so incredibly wrong. The first thing they did was install those floating floorboards. Not bad ones, mid-range oak laminate. Jake said it was an upgrade for all of us. He paid for it. I let it go. Next came the bookshelf. A $160 IKEA hack. White frame, fake gold legs. Sarah posted a time-lapse of him assembling it with the caption, "Our place is coming together." I was standing behind the camera. Over time, their language shifted. It went from "your apartment" to "our space." From "thanks for letting us stay" to "we love this home." From "we're looking for a place" to a deafening silence. Their toothbrushes lived in my cup. Their shoes by the front door. Their laundry in my washer. I never said a word. Then came the baby. They didn't tell me directly. I found out through an Instagram story. Sarah holding up a sonogram. Jake in the background flexing like he'd discovered fire. I sent a congratulatory text. His reply? "We should talk about making things more permanent." I didn't ask what that meant. They never clarified. 3 weeks later, my parents called. Brenda wanted to know if I'd consider gifting the apartment. Not all of it, she insisted. Just symbolically. "They're starting a family," she'd pleaded. "You're doing so well, Leo." I said no. She'd countered, "It wouldn't kill you." I hung up. The family fund had started in 2019. Quietly. $1,500 a month to cover Brenda and Richard's mortgage while Dad was recovering. Then another $600 a month for my sister, Chloe's rent. $200 for Uncle Rob's legal bills. $320 for Brenda's dentist. $3,000 to patch the roof. I stopped keeping track after a while, but my bank didn't. Over 4 years, the family account transfers totaled $91,200. My apartment mortgage, taxes, fees, $112,000. Furniture and repairs, $9,300. Food, utilities, incidentals, $6,700. Total personal investment, $219,200. Total contribution from anyone else? Jake's flooring, $940. That one bookshelf, $160. A used blender gifted from Sarah's mom. When I refused to transfer the deed, they stopped asking. They just went ahead with it. 3 weeks before the baby shower, Jake scheduled a notary appointment using a fake email under my name. Richard handled the logistics. Brenda coordinated with a lawyer. They submitted a scanned signature from a tax form I'd filled out in 2018. It wasn't even a good forgery, but it was enough. The property title was reassigned without my consent. At that baby shower, they acted like they were giving me a moment. Like I should clap, smile, feel included. Instead, I watched my name, my property, held up in a gold frame like a prop. A gift from all of us, Brenda had declared. All of us, apparently meant not me. The same person who bought the apartment, who furnished it, who kept the lights on, who even paid for that $1,280 Pottery Barn crib, now sitting proudly next to the cake, wrapped in a bow like it materialized from some collective effort. After I left that night, I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I logged into my bank. I printed the full list of transactions. I highlighted everything connected to that apartment. Down payments, insurance, taxes, repairs, even the $342 I paid to fix the garbage disposal after Sarah put avocado pits down it because TikTok said it was fine. I put it in a folder, titled it, Correction, Just Facts, No Commentary. By morning, the locksmith had changed the entry code. The building manager reset the buzzer, and I made a list of everything inside the apartment that didn't belong to me. The floor, the bookshelf, the crib, the decal that said "Welcome, baby" on the living room wall. Everything they brought in, everything they posted about, everything they called theirs. Gone. I didn't text Jake. I didn't threaten legal action. I didn't even explain. Because that's what they expected. And that's exactly what I wasn't going to give them. They thought I wouldn't react. That was the point. They thought if they made it loud, dramatic, official, I'd argue. But if they smiled enough, clinked glasses, held up gold frames, and used words like blessing, and from all of us, maybe I'd stay quiet. Maybe they'd pull it off. They didn't pull it off. They crossed the line. At 9:06 a.m. the next morning, a moving truck stopped in front of the apartment. Not my apartment, not theirs, just the space they tried to claim. The driver unloaded 64 flat-packed cardboard boxes. Each one had a label, "Start Fresh." They were clean, new, branded in black font, with pre-marked lines for room, contents, owner. On the top box, a taped envelope. Inside, a printed packing guide, a checklist titled, "Everything You Brought." The categories were precise, almost poetic. Box 1, baby clothes. Boxes 2 to 4, unrequested nursery decor. Box 5, shared toothbrush, still not mine. Boxes 6 to 11, excuses. Box 12, let's talk. Boxes 13 to 40, my silence. Boxes 41 to 62, entitlement. Box 63, their floor. Box 64, dignity. Underneath it all, you have 30 days, but I thought I'd help you get started. They saw it before noon. I know because the hallway camera caught Jake opening the door. He stepped back like the boxes were alive. Sarah stood behind him, holding a mug, wearing that threadbare robe she always wore when she needed attention. He bent down, opened the top one, looked inside. Empty. She started crying. I watched the footage with the sound off. That evening, my phone buzzed. "Jake, what is wrong with you?" "Brenda, this isn't how family behaves." "Richard, you made your point, Leo. Enough." "Chloe, are you okay?" Like, actually okay. I didn't reply. Not to them. Not anymore. I'd already made my own spreadsheet. Everything I paid for, everything I carried, everything they took. I sent it as a single PDF. Subject: apartment, final numbers. At 4:17 p.m., Brenda called again. I let it ring. She left a voicemail. "We never meant to take it, Leo. It was symbolic. For the baby." I saved the audio file, titled it symbolic.mp3. The next day, Jake showed up. He rang my buzzer 5 times. I watched him from the peephole. Hoodie, sweatpants, holding a half-folded box. I didn't open. He left the box on my doorstep. Inside, a note. "You're really going to do this? After everything?" I left it there until it rained. That weekend, I had the floors they installed delivered back to them. Every plank, every screw, every strip of underlayment. I labeled the box, technically yours, reclaimed, included, packing peanuts, receipt paid by him, $940. And a note, rebuilding is easier with your own materials. They moved out in silence. No social media goodbye. No group chat drama. Just a slow, agonizing vanishing. By the end of the month, the apartment was mine again, in every way that mattered. The smell of their candles gone. Their coats from the hallway gone. The baby banner folded and returned. No one ever asked for the 64 boxes back. I assumed they used them. 1 month later, Brenda sent a group email. Subject: Family Reconciliation. It had bullet points. Let's not let money come between us. This can still be a win for everyone. Forgiveness is a gift. Remember who was there when you needed help. I didn't respond, but I forwarded it to myself with a new subject line: family rebranding. Then I archived it. The apartment is quiet now. Some nights, I leave the lights off and just listen. You can still hear the ghosts of their plans echoing in the walls. But ghosts are quieter than people and far easier to remove. They tried being loud. Then they tried being quiet. Then they tried meek. It started with a text from Chloe: let's just reset. No drama. No receipts. Clean slate. Then a call from Brenda. Voicemail only. I know we've made mistakes, Leo, but you're the wise one. You always were. And then my favorite, a message from Richard. Come to dinner. Let's talk man to man. They picked a Tuesday. I said yes. The restaurant was Italian mid-level. They thought the dim lights would make everything softer. They were wrong. I arrived second. They'd already ordered a bottle of wine. 2 glasses. I didn't touch mine. Brenda launched first. We were under pressure. Then everything was so chaotic with the baby. We shouldn't have gone behind your back, but it was out of love. I let them finish their little soliloquy. Then I opened my bag. 3 items, quietly placed on the table. A USB, a manila folder, a single laminated sheet. Richard reached for the USB. I pulled it back. You won't need that. I've already emailed it to your employers and the bank. Brenda froze. I handed her the folder. Inside, a notarized termination of all co-signed accounts. A legal notice revoking power of attorney. A side letter ending my monthly contributions. No fanfare. Just documents. I looked at Chloe. You're off the insurance plan. Effective last week. She blinked twice, then tried to smile. That's okay. I'll figure something out. I nodded. You will. Jake didn't show up, but I sent him his own folder by courier. Inside, a bill for property use, an itemized spreadsheet of damages, a QR code to a Dropbox folder titled Resources to Get Started. Inside that folder, resume templates, cover letter samples, a mock LinkedIn profile, a short tutorial. How to apply for jobs when the free ride ends. That Saturday, I hosted a picnic. Not for family, for ex-family. Park table, plastic cups, name tags with first names and job titles. Except no one had job titles, so I brought extras. Each tag said, available. Ask me about my skills. My aunt cried when she saw hers. My cousin pretended it was a joke. Brenda said, it's confronting. I said that was the point. Then I handed out folders. Inside each, 1 printed copy of a job board URL, 1 fact sheet, budgeting for grown-ups, 1 sticky note. You said I was the responsible one, so I'm helping you become one too. The following Monday, I filed a report with the police. Not a lawsuit, not revenge, just a notification of identity misuse and title forgery. The officer at the desk asked if I wanted to press charges. I said not yet. By Thursday, I received an email from Richard's lawyer. Subject: concern about escalation. Body: let's not destroy the family over some documents. We can work this out without legal involvement. This is not what your mother wants. I replied with 2 lines. You wanted life without me. Let me show you what that actually looks like. They stopped calling, stopped texting. But the silence didn't mean surrender. It meant confusion, which, frankly, was louder. No one spoke about me directly anymore. They'd stopped mentioning my name, even in the messages they accidentally sent to people who still knew how to forward screenshots. But I heard everything. Olivia, my cousin from Indiana, the one who somehow ends up on every family chain whether she wants to or not, kept me looped in quietly. No commentary, just raw data. FYI, she'd write and forward the text. Sometimes an audio message. Sometimes a photo, like the one of Brenda wearing her healing scarf, restocking books in the local library. Apparently, she took a part-time job there. She told everyone it was to stay active. The real reason? Insurance no longer covered her blood pressure meds. Olivia overheard her whispering about copays behind the help desk. She also sold 2 handbags, the ones she used to call investments. Now she called them non-essential joy. Richard downsized his car, not out of environmental conscience, but necessity. The dealership confirmed it. Olivia's boyfriend works there. Said Richard looked tired, confused about financing. Couldn't remember the model of the hybrid he was trading in. Dad now drives a used silver sedan. One headlight always flickers when turning left. Fitting. His office moved into a smaller room. A junior partner mentioned it in a group call that got screen recorded and leaked. He mumbled something about just needing less space. He never mentioned the family phone I stopped paying for, or the data plan, or the calendar subscription. Chloe moved in with her boyfriend's mom. Temporarily has lasted 5 months. The guest room has a rug that smells like wet dog and expired shampoo. She keeps saying it's transitional housing. She also posted a quote last week. Sometimes growth looks like falling apart first. Caption, mood. Her tuition plan, the one I used to cover in full, it's now split across 3 payment systems. She missed one of them, got an email, forgot her login, called the university, got put on hold, cried, hung up, tried again the next day. She told all this to Olivia over coffee. Olivia called me after, dryly. She's learning. Jake hosted the baby's first birthday party in their own apartment. I didn't get invited, of course, but one of the neighbors did, and she posted pictures on Facebook. My face wasn't tagged because I wasn't there, but the cheap plastic tablecloths and mismatched cups were. Apparently, the cupcakes were from a clearance bin. One balloon popped mid-sentence. The Bluetooth speaker wouldn't pair. No photographer, just iPhone timers. The napkins had blessed written on them. Someone had crossed the word out with pen. No one smiled in any of the photos. They've started referring to money as tight, which is what people say when they don't want to admit it's gone. Jake applied for a budgeting app. I know because it asked for my referral code accidentally. He never used it. One weekend, 34% of their expenses were marked miscellaneous. They renamed the old family group chat. It's now called Support Circle. I'm not in it, but I get screenshots. The interface hasn't changed. Still blue bubbles. Still performative replies. Brenda sent. Guess who made lemon bars? No one replied. Richard sent an article. Forgiveness adds 5 years to your life. Seen by 2. No hearts. Chloe posted a selfie with the caption, growth. The background showed the same dog rug. No comments. Thanksgiving happened without me. I found out via a blurry photo in a shared album from a mutual family friend. The turkey was visibly charred. The chairs didn't match. One was a beach chair. The music system refused to connect to Bluetooth, so they used someone's phone. They printed a gratitude list and left it on the table. 5 blank lines. Only 2 had been filled in. One said health. The other said hope. The photo had no filter. It didn't need one. Olivia texted later. It was weird. No one brought up your name. Not even once. That was the most telling part. Not that they missed me, that they had to try so hard not to. By the time they stopped pretending I'd return, I'd already rebuilt the floors. They were old, loud in places, crooked in others. I didn't realize how much they echoed until there was no one left to cover the noise. So I stripped everything down. Sanded, sealed, stained. New oak, matte finish. Warm. Honest. I picked it not for style, but because it didn't apologize. I painted the walls next. Soft gray. Not cold, not trendy. Just quiet. The living room lost 2 chairs and gained 1 reading corner. The kitchen got under-cabinet lights. The laundry closet became a room. There were no witnesses to the process. No one asked for progress pictures. That made it easier. For the first time, I wasn't preparing a space for anyone else's needs. And then I met her. At a hardware store, of course. Maya. She was arguing over grout color with someone who clearly didn't care. I made a joke. She didn't laugh. She corrected my punchline. Better than mine. We left with the wrong grout, but exchanged numbers. Our first date was takeout on the floor. Mine freshly installed. She brought her own fork. Said she doesn't eat from plastic. I respected that. She didn't ask about my family. Not once. Not until month 4. And when she did, it wasn't a trap, just a question. I told her I'd been quiet, quitting my relatives. Did they notice? She asked. I said, they're still performing the loss. I just stopped clapping. She didn't press, just nodded. Then changed the subject to paint primers. We built slowly. By month 6, she had her own drawer. By 8, her toothbrush stayed. So did the shampoo. So did the voice. By month 10, we were engaged. By 11, we were expecting. She said it like a weather forecast. Calm, clear, inevitable. I didn't cry, but I sat on the kitchen floor for 20 minutes afterward, holding the bowl she used every morning. It felt heavier. I didn't tell my family. There wasn't a moment that called for it. No announcement to ruin. No seat to leave empty. They found out through someone else. I got a text from my aunt. Congratulations, I guess. No follow-up. No address. No gift. Perfect. They didn't ask to be involved, and I didn't offer. Not out of spite, just clarity. There's no space in a room designed for peace, for people who only know noise. Now I spend mornings in a home that holds still. We argue sometimes over small things, grocery lists, parking spots. But no one yells. No one disappears. When the baby kicks, Maya laughs like she didn't expect it. Every time. There's a closet full of hand-me-downs we politely declined, and a crib we built ourselves. Some nights we sit in the nursery and say nothing, because nothing doesn't hurt anymore. Silence has changed sides. It no longer means absence. It means enough. What would you have done if your own family had tried to steal your home? Share your thoughts in the comments below.